Hello, everybody. Thanks for tuning in. Andrew Fitch, MrPictovid here, and of course, my beautiful and wonderful co-host, Sean Conahay from Dackman Productions. How is everybody tonight? How are you, Sean?
I'm doing good and love this new show we decided to do together. So I'm super excited once again for our new episode.
And I was just looking in our live chat here. It looks like we got several people in there right now. Who did we have in here first? Looks like we had Stay Loaded in here first. And actually, he was first by, I want to say, by a week. I'm pretty sure I posted this up and he commented right away and said, "What, I got to wait a week?" So I do apologize. I hope that it was worth the wait. And as always, if I mispronounce anybody's names, I apologize. But we got James Catlin in our chat, I see. Canadian Railroads. Our friend Boris is in there. We got Cody, Columbus Garden Railway Society. I believe you know Bruce Morrill, Sean, correct?
Yep.
We got Garden RR in there. I believe that's our friend Charlie. Looks like we had Dunbar just pop in. Southern Illinois G Scale, which is our friend Matt Russell. We got our friend Jonathan the Fish Guy's in there. So yeah, we got quite a few people in there right now.
And let's not forget Joseph Lipinski, who is a member of the North New Hampshire Garden Railway Society.
I didn't even see him pop in there. My apologies.
Yes, it's nice to see new people showing up to our shows every time we do one, and we're hoping to continue this series of live shows.
So, as our title of our show said, our guest tonight is actually two people. It's Nico and Vincent Corbo. Sean's known them for many years, and I've been fortunate enough to have known them for the past several years, at least 3 or 4, I think. Years fly by anymore, don't they, Sean?
That's for sure. I can't keep track anymore, but I guess that's what happens when you get older.
That it does. That it does. So I will go ahead and bring them in, and they can say hello to everybody, unless you had anything else we needed to go over, Sean, before.
Let's bring them in.
All right, we'll bring them in. Join the circus, right?
Sure, why not? Throw them to the wolves.
There they are.
Hey, everybody. Hello.
Hey, how's it going?
We're doing well. How are you guys doing?
We're super stoked for this our new episode of this live show, and so I guess we always start our live shows with telling us about letting the guests tell the audience about themselves.
All right. Well, as you know, I'm Nico, and this is Vincent. Started in model trains since I was born. I mean, my brother had a Lionel set. I always was enamored with it. When I was little enough, he would run it for me, and then I started running it myself. Asked for a Lionel set for Christmas, ended up getting an HO set. Started getting into HO really big, and built a few layouts in the basement when I was younger. Then around 1984, 85, I saw a G scale, and that was it. I was done with HO. Pulled up the layout in the basement, started, getting a layout of G scale, set up on some 2x4s down in the basement. And, you go through phases in life, you get out of it, you get into it. And then my wife and I get married, got back into the G scale big times, had a house, started doing the layout. I actually joined, the first club I joined was the Garden Railroaders of Northern New Jersey, which I believe is no longer, I think it's defunct, no longer in existence. And then I started around 2008, 2009. I started the Garden Railroaders, Pocono Mountain Garden Railway Society. And that was all made to be fun and enjoyable. We had no dues, no fees. anybody that wanted to join could be a member. We actually called Vincent was about 4 or 5 years old at the time, so we called him the president. And
now I know why John called him Mr. President.
Yeah, that's why John called him Mr. President. Well, the whole point behind it was the joke of it, because here you have a bunch of old grown men playing with trains and getting upset, and then when they would get upset, we would go argue with the president, and what poor man's going to go argue with a 4 or 5 year old? So it kind of diffused situations pretty quick, and let everybody get back to enjoying the trains. And yeah, John still refers to him as Mr. President. So I mean, long story short, I ran that for 10 years. Since have handed it off to somebody else, and I have moved to Virginia now, and we're starting a life down here, new job, new house, all that good stuff.
Okay. And did you end up moving your layout with you, or pulling that up, or? Yeah,
I pulled up all the dirt, the rocks, put it on a truck. No, I mean, yeah, obviously we took the train tracks and all the buildings, the houses, the trains obviously all came with us. Right now we're in a temporary, until we find out exactly where we want to live in Virginia. We're in a rental home. So, we do set up a circle in the driveway and play around with that. We've also gotten into 1.5 inch scale, 7.5 inch gauge ride-on trains. So we've been doing that down here, as well as a N scale club that we have joined.
Oh, wow.
So, we're still big into trains. Lots of trains down here. Lots of rail fanning to do down here with CSX and Norfolk Southern crossing right through Richmond, triple crossing. Just there's plenty of train things to do down here.
Oh, great! So you do rail fanning as well?
Correct. Yep.
Okay.
Vincent, I put a train. I put a train in his bedroom before he was born. We used to use it as a mobile. It went around the ceiling. And it was a LGB starter set, 240 New York Central freight set with the sound. So we had the bell and the whistle going, and we would put them to bed with it at night, using it as like a mobile. And I created a monster. So I'll let you talk about yourself.
So my dad introduced me to trains when I was very young, and I was instantly hooked on any trains there were. I dug into his HO, I dug into his O scale, I dug into his S scale, whatever he would let me run. We were always setting it up in the coffee table, in the living room, on the floor. I've just loved trains since then. And when we moved to Virginia, that opened up an opportunity to go rail fanning much more often, as there are railroad tracks in closer proximity to our house.
Okay. Wow. And so is Norfolk Southern and CSX the ones that primarily run near you guys, or do you have any other railroad names as well? Or
Norfolk Southern, CSX, and Amtrak are the main three. There's a short line, I think, west of us that interchanges with the Norfolk Southern. I don't know the name of the short line.
Okay.
So it sounds like you have future plans to build another G scale layout once you're able to.
Yeah, definitely. We enjoy it as a family. My wife is also into it. You guys have both met her. She's into it. She has her own train. She has the Blue Comet. My daughter has trains. She's not so much into the trains, but she likes the people, the cars. My wife also likes the pond aspect of it. We had a big pond at our last house, and we also had lots of trees. She likes doing the plantings and all that kind of stuff. So it gets everybody involved.
Yeah, I remember attending your open house one year, and I saw the pond, and I thought it was so neat that you had like I think it was a passenger car at the bottom of the pond, like it came off the tracks and derailed. And
that was a box car. That was Vinny's idea. Yeah.
Yeah, that was so cool. That was a good idea.
Yeah, the fish would swim in and out of it, and it was kind of neat to have it down there.
And I've been attending the East Coast Roarskill train show. I guess I believe since 2011, but haven't started filming it until like 2012. But I know you guys, the Pocono Mountain Garden Railway, when you always put on a good show every time. I would go there.
I think that was around the first year we did it was 2010, 2011. We filled in for the Connecticut Club because they had an issue that they couldn't make it. And then I believe they couldn't make it the next year, so we filled in for them, and then we just kind of been there ever since.
Yeah, because I remember getting the Connecticut Club on video, and then I was going through past videos, and then I'm like, remembered, wow, I only got 1 year of them, so I wasn't really that familiar with them, or are they even still around that you know of, or?
Yeah, they're still around. I believe they do the what do you call that? The Amherst show.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I believe they're up in there and involved in that. Yeah, I don't know why they couldn't make it anymore. It is a far drive from there all the way down to New York. I don't, I wouldn't. Yeah, it's kind of far. Even those New Hampshire guys that make it all the way down there, I'm always impressed with them.
Yeah,
it's a long haul.
So as you're getting it, or you're building your G scale layout in your own backyard, which was a nice layout, by the way, because I got the visit and you invited me out there and I shot video of it.
Yeah.
And so along the way that you got into this G scale hobby, I get obviously there were certain things you weren't happy with as far as the models themselves. Then you made certain improvements and you done certain things along the way in a G scale hobby besides just building a layout. You want to explain those to our viewers?
Well, I mean, I'm a mechanical engineer by trade. So, it's kind of in my nature to take things apart and put them back together and try and make them better, so I was always taking things apart. I don't know how to better explain it than that. Even Vincent, sometimes I would come home and find, one of my good trains taken apart when I was younger. Anytime I can change something or make it better or make it run better, I was always interested in doing that. And most of the stuff I did was modifying, painting, all that kind of stuff. But, I've also done a bunch of custom stuff too, as people ask me to, like the lowering bolster for the streamliners. The other thing that Andrew has that we're going to review eventually, and that one. There you go. I get a lot of requests from people or just talking to people. Oh, it'd be great if we had this, but it did this, or so that's how I did a lot of modifications and things like that for people. I started doing the Revos, installing the Revos and control systems. And it got to a point where I was helping people do it. And I said, hey, I'll help you install it. And they were like, no, I just want you to do it. I don't want to help installing it. I want you to do it so I can just play with the train. And I'm like, well, I'm not going to just do it for you. So they're like, no, I'll pay you. So then that started that aspect of the business, doing the installs and the electrical modifications and all that kind of stuff. I was lucky enough to have some really great friends that were into electrical engineers. One guy I work with, Brendan Walsh, and another guy, Walter Quarter, who anytime I had questions, and I bugged them all the time with, this is what I want to do. And, I'm not quite sure how to do this. They always helped me and led me in the right direction when I wasn't able to get there myself.
And as you were running your layout, and so along the way, like I said, there were certain things you weren't happy with. So you're as you mentioned, you're an engineer by trade, I guess.
Yeah.
And so you got into doing some 3D printing and designs of upgrades or certain things that you offer a product. You want to talk about that?
Well, one of the things was the lowering bolsters for the streamliners. That was one of the first things I had made, and it was basically one of my friends, Kevin Kavik, who has since passed away. But he was like, "Oh, it'd be really great if we could lower these down to a more prototypical height." So I was like, "Oh yeah, we could do that." So we took it apart and we looked at the lowering bolster. Here's one of the lowering bolsters, and we cut it down and made it lower, and I started making those. I made a bunch for him. I did them all to my cars too. I could show you some pictures of them and the difference in the height, and it started from there. And then I did other parts for. I had a customer with a 440 Bachmann, and he wanted to make it more industrial, so he wanted to get rid of the cow catcher on the front. So I did stuff like that. More stuff that just wasn't available, so to speak, than doing things that were like improving an engine or something like that. So, like I said, always tweaking something to make it fit somebody else's needs.
Right. And you actually designed motor blocks for the early Aristo locomotives like the FAs to lower them down as well?
Well, I made to adapt to the new motor blocks.
Okay.
So a lot of people have the old style motor blocks, which don't mount into the cradle the same way. So and the only way to make the new ones mount is either put blocks and try and figure out the height. So I actually had one, and I took it apart, measured it, and modeled it up, and made a 3D print of that conversion kit. And actually Cody, who's on here, has, I think, 2 sets of those.
Those are his Cadillacs. Those aren't FAs anymore.
Well, yeah, I know. He's asking me for the lowering kit now for to lower the ride height on those. But yeah, that other kit didn't lower the ride height. It was just an adapter.
Okay.
Yeah, because he had the old style motor blocks that rode in the side frames. Was the connection on them, right?
Right.
Yeah. Okay.
I actually have a picture of that if you want to see that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's see a picture of that.
Hey, Sean, are you looking at the chat that we have there?
Yeah, I'll bring it up in a minute here.
Well, I mean, you messaged me back.
Oh, the private chat. Oh.
Whenever you're ready there, Sean. There you go. So there's my hand, and there's the 3D printed new housing for the FA motor block. So that adapts the newer style aristo-craft motor blocks, or the Bachmann now from the Eggliners, those motor blocks.
Okay.
You able to zoom in on that any, Nico? Like zoom in on just the picture itself?
I don't know if that helps at all. Oh, nope. That's about as close as I could get. So actually, you can see here, right here is where the new motor block mounts.
Okay.
This piece wasn't there on the old motor blocks, and then they added that in. I know Colin also sells an adapter kit, which is just a block that screws in. So you can get that way also. But okay. I didn't like to, try and screw in a block and measure everything. This is just, unbolt it, bolt it on, and you're done.
Okay. And Joseph Lipinski is asking, do you have a website for all your work, or a website where you sell things?
I do not. You can email me at 4trackrr@gmail.com. And if you're looking,
I should have a link to that email in the description if they're not sure how to.
Yeah, and I mean, I can do anything that you're really looking to do. I mean, there's a bunch of stuff that do 3D printing as well, but I try and do more of the custom stuff than standard parts. Like I know GLX does a lot of replacement parts for aristo-craft.
Right. So. And the fun part of this is, we were talking to you earlier, is that you're not the only creative person, it seems like, in the household. You have a very creative person right next to you, Vincent. And he's done amazing custom runs.
Yeah. Yeah, he's done some custom stuff. He's working on. You want to show him what you're working on right now?
You got to say up front you're not making anymore. Just kidding.
This is a TTX front runner car. It's made out of aluminum, and it is based off of a N-scale Atlas one. I made a prototype out of plastic, and someone saw it and asked me to make them 3. So this is one of them here. So it's in the building process. It's not nearly finished. So these are the back, I guess you call them wings. This is where the trailer wheels would sit. And then it has 2 more small front ones, which are basically just little standing platforms. And then it's also going to have the third wheel to fifth wheel to mount the trailer on.
So this is all aluminum bar that he milled. So he milled out over here for the KD pads. So it's
that was all one solid chunk of aluminum. Then it's not like anything bolted together or anything.
Nope, that's a big piece of aluminum. The wings are steel. So it's a pretty hefty car, and it's going to take the weight. It's not going to bow. It's not going to bend.
And I was just super blown away by somebody his age designing and making something like this.
Yeah,
and this is something that a lot of modern people who are in the modern trains would love to own and have.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah, and how many trailers will fit on this? Do you know?
One trailer anywhere from 20 feet to I think the longest one is 53 feet.
Yeah, 53 feet. Okay. And so what scale did you make that at? Is it 129 scale?
Yes, 129 scale.
Okay. All right.
Very nice, Vincent.
Yeah, it was very nice, and I can't wait to see the actual finished product on that.
Yeah, I have some pictures of his prototypes if you want to see those too.
Oh yeah, I would love to.
Let me.
Are you able to see the chat we have in StreamYards, Nico?
Yes.
Yeah.
All right.
All right. Let me share the screen.
You're already sharing.
Oh, I'm already sharing. There you go.
Yeah, I just hit it from last time, so it was still there.
Yeah. So there you go. This was one of the prototypes he made out of plastic. To get the idea and the sizing right, and for it to work with the trucks that he was trying to use, and before he spent money on metal and milling them. And actually, this is what he started doing, and that got him into. Somebody saw these and wanted them. So then he started making the metal ones.
I mean, it looks right at home with the USA Trains Intermodal Car.
Yeah, and he's doing a nice job. He's taking his time. He's doing them right.
Yeah, and Jonathan V. Fish guy is asking, how old is this Vincent?
I'm 15.
So there you go, guys. You got a 15-year-old who's designed and made this train car. I mean, this is amazing stuff.
Yeah, he was always at the East Coast show with me. When we first started the modules, he could walk right under the modules without ducking. Like, all of us old guys were ducking under it, and he would just walk straight under it.
And Joseph is asking, is Nico and Vincent the ones who made those TTX cars I saw for sale not that long ago?
No.
No, I have not put any of these up for sale.
Okay.
We don't want to put Vincent into child labor. They got laws against that.
Well, he's been enjoying building them, but he's also learning. It's a lot of work to do something custom and take the time to try and get it right. And when you're delivering it to a customer, you don't want to deliver them garbage. You want to make them a nice product that they can enjoy. So.
Yeah, exactly.
So, good learning process.
Learning and actually designing and creating and building and manufacturing. I mean, that all goes into that.
Yeah, he's really good with that stuff, and then he's also really good with weathering and just coming up with ideas. He painted. Do you want to show him the SD?
Yes.
So this was the first engine he painted. So this was a Conrail. Sorry, guys.
Oh, let me, hang on. Let me drop that down so you can see that better.
Yeah, there we go.
Let's see. There we go.
So that was a Conrail SD40-2 that he painted.
No!
Yeah, he painted into NS.
And that's the one he did the vinyl mask on, right?
Yep, this is all vinyl mask. So all this is painted on. This is not stickers, decals. If you notice, it's got aristo-craft motor blocks. We've changed that up. And what else did we do to this? Oh,
I modernized it and made it more prototypical. I moved the horn
Oh, cool.
farther back to the correct location. I 3D printed positive train control equipment, which is mounted on the cab, and that will actually be for sale quite soon. We body mounted KD couplers on it with a custom 3D printed mount. And
those aren't for sale. Go to Colin for that stuff.
And because of the way the USA trains couplers were mounted, there was a big hole in the back of the locomotive, so I 3D printed a block off plate for that, so it looks more prototypical.
Yeah, it's kind of the stuff that Colin's doing, but obviously we have our own 3D printer, so
yeah,
we're not stepping on Colin's toes with any of the or Campac's toes with any of the coupling stuff. If you want any of that, go to him.
Yeah, I mean, that locomotive looks great.
Thank you.
Very nice.
Yeah, and he's done some weathering as well, you were saying?
Do you have anything weathered here or no?
I could go grab something.
Yeah, that's all right. Yeah, you could go grab something, but he's got, and then he also did
Want to see the flat car or the hopper?
whichever one you want to show.
Show the flat car first.
So this was a New York Central
LGB flat car,
LGB flat car,
which I repainted into a patched Conrail car, and it's patched for Norfolk Southern. This again was done. This again was done with a vinyl mask.
I get so used to seeing the Aristo and USA 40-foot flats. It's weird when you see a long LGB flat car like that.
That was, I think, LGB started doing modern American trains there near the end before they went out.
Yeah. This was actually a auto carrier. It had ramps that went between the cars and little railings on the side, but I've removed those.
It looks really good. And it seems like, you're going after that modern era, which is, to me, it's like kind of cool. I like it.
No, I think we were talking about that the other night when we were talking that, a lot of these younger kids, they're used to seeing what they see nowadays when they go in Railfan or when they watch videos on YouTube or what's the virtual Railfan. They don't see this stuff that we grew up seeing or we were used to.
Right.
They see this more modern stuff, and besides a couple companies, a lot of the modern stuff is kind of missing. They're kind of behind the times, I think, a little bit. But
that's brilliant.
Yeah, they are, and I think unless they catch up, the only way you could get anything modern is by doing what he's doing, changing things up or changing things around to make them what you want.
Yeah, scratch building just like anybody else did when something's not available that you wanted, that's what you did.
Yeah. I mean, that blows me away. That's just cool stuff. And so, Vincent, how important do you think it is that the modern trains? Are you more interested in that than seeing the older stuff?
I like both the old and the new stuff, but I like the modern stuff a little bit more because that's when we go driving around, that's what I see. I see the more modern trains. I don't see a 1950s boxcar anymore. So I definitely think that the modern trains are cooler than the older ones.
Yeah, I have to agree with you on that one. Because I myself recently got into the modern stuff, but like you said, people want the trains that they actually really see.
Yeah.
So getting back to you, Nico, you've done some 3D print. You're doing 3D printing currently, correct?
Yeah.
And you want to share some photos and of your 3D printing and some things you've done?
Well, I mean, we've done some custom stuff. Let's go here. So, I mean, if you want, let's go to. So most of the modeling I do is in SolidWorks. Let me get the. There you go. Come on. It's glitching.
Yeah, that's all right. We'll hang in there. Just take your time.
There we go. There it is. So here, this was a custom engine I did for a customer. He had a running gear that he bought off of eBay or wherever he got it, or maybe he traded somebody, and he wanted the body for it, and the body wasn't available. The engine was discontinued or whatever, what have you, or he couldn't get it. So he asked me to design the body. So this is the complete body for the engine, minus some lights and some other detail items. The top is made for the LGB catenary system. So once that was, once the body was done and everything, and then we switch over to the finished product.
Oh,
so that's
nice.
That body on the running gear and finished with the catenary, some brass wire, isolators, headlights. So again, that's all 3D printed. All the lights work. All these had LEDs put in. A couple different views of it, a little close up. I think this was a Marklin engine, if I remember correctly, that the bottom was.
Wow. And what type of material are you using for your 3D printed project?
This is ABS. So it's like extrusion, like if you think of a hot glue gun.
Yes.
So it's laying down very small layers, like a hot glue gun, extruding out.
Right.
One layer on top of another and making the body. Until you get this. That's something else. That's another project. But yeah, so that's 3D printed. Show you some other things we've done here. So the streamliner, Vista Dome. So Garden Railways had done, somebody posted in Garden Railways this Vista Dome. They made an extended Vista Dome out of aristo-craft. So I had a customer ask me, could you do this? So again, made a 3D model. Let me see if I could pull up here you go. Come on. There you go. So this is the Vista Dome. It was made in 2 halves and then glued together to make the car. And then, I had to make an interior for it. So the interior is actually out of a Bachmann passenger car. And then, of course, I put LED lighting up top. The customer didn't want any people inside. They wanted to do that themselves.
No
So,
people in the passenger cars.
Well, they wanted to put their own people in. So, they wanted to pick and choose their people.
Yeah. Yeah, of course they're going to have people inside the passenger cars. Why would you not?
Yeah, so, the top was removable, just like the original Aristocraft was. So this is how the car started. They were regular passenger cars. They weren't even Vista Domes when I got them. And then that's...
I mean, there's no sense in toting around empty passenger cars.
Well, you're not making any money, so...
Yeah, well, some people
Absolutely.
like to drive themselves out of business. I can think of one right now. But...
I just didn't want any lawsuits from loading passengers in the yard. That's all. Yeah, we actually got quite a few people watching right now. Looks like we got 39 people watching right now.
Yeah.
So I know there's been some new people that have popped into the chat, and I'd just like to say hello to all of you all at one time, because I'm trying to scroll back through here to see who I've missed. And the chat has been going a little bit crazy. So thank you, everybody that's tuned in thus far to watch the show. We hope you're enjoying it. Or at least that's the goal.
I'll show you some more. So this was another customer. This is actually, I just made a small section of it. This is a part of a aristo-craft heavyweight roof, and they wanted these lights. So basically there was a car that had inspection cameras on it and lights so they could check the track while they were running down the track. So these are some lights for the back of the car. So this is made to fit LEDs, and the customer was going to mount these on the back of a heavyweight. And then there's also the inspection cameras that go with this. Here, oh, here you go. So this, come on. So there's a light itself. So that mounted right on the roof. And then there was the inspection camera that mounted under the, here you go. SolidWorks does not like to work with me tonight. There we go. There we go. So this is the inspection camera that mounted underneath, and this pointed at the rail. So this had actually different color LEDs, a green and red LED that the customer was going to put and wire up in here with lenses on it. And this hung underneath the heavyweight car and, you know, rode along the tracks to inspect the rails.
Oh, wow.
Okay.
That was another thing. Let's get rid of some of this stuff. Maybe as I close stuff, it will work better.
I'm not doing too bad. I got 20 gigs of RAM on my computer now. I know. What's 20 gigs of RAM, Sean, right?
This
RAM is a pickup truck.
This was the front of the 440. So like I said, they wanted more of an industrial look instead of the cow catcher.
Okay.
And,
Which engine was that for?
Bachmann 440.
Oh, okay.
American.
Okay.
Yeah.
I had to think about that for a minute.
And they wanted to use it more for switching, so we put the KD pad. Sorry, Colin. Put the KD pad right on there so they can mount the KD that they wanted on there. Let's see what else we got. So I've done windows too. So I know, you know, Grant Line, and there was a couple other companies that made windows. I was doing a model. I do building models, model buildings also, you know, out of wood and structures like that. So we were doing one that they didn't make a standard size window. So instead of cutting one and gluing it together, I just I made the window the size we needed it and 3D printed it. Here's one John's been asking for. That's the Pacific cow catcher with the cutout for the KD. So you put that on the front swing.
I think John would like if you sold those in 12 packs.
Pilot. And then you
He
can put a coupler on the front without.
Sorry. I was going to say, John said he can't keep a pilot on those engines for nothing.
John
I'll
also
make one.
seems John
I'll
also
make one
seems
solid
to
for him.
his locomotives.
I can make a solid one for John. This way it won't break. Again, you know, that's just somebody. Actually, this was for Bob Shaw. You had mentioned Bob Shaw earlier.
Yes.
This was for his Mikado.
Okay.
Let's see what else. Here's the freight lowering bolsters that we talked about. So, you know, here's the 3D model, and you know, here's the finished part, 3D printed out.
Oh, I can let me see if I can flip that around there.
So that's the 3D printed part. This one has the KD pad on it. And then after I made the original videos, I got people asking, well, can you just do the bolster part? So that's just the bolster.
And just so that we know, how long does it take to print out like the part, like that bolster or that plate there that you made?
That one took about 2.5 hours.
Yeah, it's about 2.5 hours on a printer. You gotta remember, it's doing each layer.
Yep.
Individually. I don't know. Let's see if I could find. It's kind of hard to see unless you get really close up. But you could kind of see the layers in there.
Yes.
So each one of those layers, it's going by and laying that in there, each one at a time at 0.005 of an inch.
Yeah. And Boris says he would buy that for $1. I guess he watched too much RoboCop back in the days.
Yeah.
Because that's where he gets that from, RoboCop. I'll buy that for $1.
I'll buy that for $1, but yeah, he wants everything for $1. So.
He wants everything for $1. So how much time goes into a design just for the file to print something out?
Something like the engine. That was probably like 10 to 20 hours. You got to realize that when you're designing, like, especially like aristo-craft designing an engine or USA Trains designing an engine, that's thousands of hours of design work going in to make sure every part fits together and every component goes on the way it should. And there's tolerances involved. And sometimes there's interferences that you want, not, so, there's trial and error. I probably printed this maybe 2 or 3 times, just tweaking, little cutouts, the cutouts in the back that hold the old floor down, because this one was meant to, you chop the old floor off and then this holds the rest of the floor in. You think you measure it right, and you got to make a little tweak. It's got to be moved, or when you lower this, you have to cut down the rest of the floor so the wheel could still swivel. Okay. So I may have not cut it to the right exact height. So then you got to tweak them a little bit. It's always also there's factors with the 3D printer, how close it prints. So you may have to like a hole size, like the top in here, or the hole in there, I may make it one size, but then the 3D printer may shrink it slightly. So then I got to make it larger.
Oh.
So, there is fine tuning that has to be done.
So for somebody who's considering 3D printing, they're not just going to say, okay, I want to make a my own 50-foot gondola car, and say, okay, printer, make me this 50-foot gondola car.
Well, there's different modeling softwares, and there's different resolutions, and there's different types of printers. So, there's all different elements that you could get into and how much you want to spend. You could go get a 3D printer for $200, $150,000.
Wow.
So, there's like the 3D printer I use at work is a $50,000-$60,000 machine.
Wow.
So it's you have different variables and different ways you have to do it. A home 3D printer, there may be a lot more post process items you have to do to it, cleaning off flashing and things like that. Whereas the higher dollar will use a support material that washes away, it dissolves. So, and then like Colin's process, the one he's using is an SLA, which is using light to cure the material. So it's just different ways of doing things, gets different results.
Yeah. So let's take a question from the audience. I see.
Sure.
PJ Fast Tracks is asking.
That's Paul Carr.
Okay. Is that asking is that what you use to print on Nico? What the work you're printing?
I use my personal printer. It's a artillery sidewinder.
Okay.
Oh, what?
Artillery sidewinder X1.
That sounds dangerous.
It's a 3D printer.
Dangerous. And
I
Carrie,
was lucky enough to get gifted by a very, very good friend the 3D printer, and that's what started this back up again.
okay. And Kerry Campbell was saying he needs 2 bolsters for his USA Trains tank car. They're broken off.
I could do those too.
All right, so we'll right now for the viewers who are watching, are you still your business name is still 4-Track Engineering?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we're still doing 4-track. We had a little hiccup in our business, unfortunately, and but we're back now, and we're starting to do stuff now. Vinny's old enough, so he's actually helping me as part of the business. It's like a labor of love. I'm not looking to get rich off this. It's just something fun that we do and do together, kind of thing.
Andrew, can you double check the email? Joseph saying he doesn't think the email is correct in the description.
Yeah, let me take a look.
And what was your email again, Nico?
It's 4trackrr@gmail.com.
Okay. So for those who are interested in having 4-track.
Oh, I have 4R track RR. My bad. I'll go stand in the corner for a moment and think about what I've done.
See you again, Andrew, I tell you.
So for those who are interested in having something custom printed, contact Nico at 4-Track Engineering, and Andrew's going to put the right link in there for the email. And so PGA Fast Tracks is asking, what's the largest size object you can print?
It's the print volume of the printer I have is about 12 by 12 by 10 inches.
Okay. Sounds great. And so that's the only way they can get a hold of you for right now. Do you plan on having a website later on?
Yeah, we're gonna keep growing this a little bit, more as we go and as we get more products. I'm just trying to refine a couple things still, and then we'll probably do something on Facebook and then maybe branch out into a website again.
Okay, and let's say if I want a custom piece done by you, is there any setup fees or design fees that you include on that? Or
I usually don't charge any engineering fees unless it's something really involved. Because basically then I own the part, so it's at my discretion to sell it, kind of thing. I mean, if you said, hey, this is my part, I want it, I own it, then that would be different than if I'm making something that you say, hey, I want you to make this, but I don't care what you do with it.
Okay, that's fair enough, actually.
Yeah.
So somebody gets a chance of getting something custom designed and not having to pay, like as you would say, an engineering fee or a setup fee.
Yeah, correct. I mean, like I said, if I own it, if I design it and I own it, it's one thing. If you want me to, be like a consultant to build something because you want to have it made and sell it, it's a different thing, obviously.
Yeah, of course. All right. So, and you're still doing Revo installs as well?
Yeah, Revo. I mean, any control system, basically. I've done DCC. I even do, I have a customer that runs Lionel command control, the cab one.
Oh.
G-scale. In G-scale engine.
Oh,
So he's
wait,
AC
that's
to
not
the
working.
track.
I got a Bluetooth in my ear. I can still hear it.
So he's running AC to the track and using the cab control to run his Lionel to run his G-scale engines. So he's using a Lionel control system.
Yeah.
To do.
And
So yeah, I've done stuff like that and DCC and other control systems as well. I mean, Revo is what I use myself personally. So I'm pretty pretty familiar with it, how it works, and all that good stuff.
Yeah, because USA Trains actually offered that system there for a short time. That line out TMCC that you're talking about.
That's actually how the guy got started in it. That's actually how I even asked him that question. I'm like, "What made you do this?" And he said, "Well, USA Trains, like one of the first 2 engines he bought, had that option from USA Trains, and that's how he got into it."
Okay. And like the average, if I sent you a aristo-craft RS3 and I wanted a Revo install, is there like a standard charge you have for certain things?
Well, it depends if it's a plug and play engine or if it's not. A diesel engine is usually a little bit cheaper because you take off the shell, everything's there. A steam engine, I have to open up the tender and the engine, and then usually a lot of times rewire everything.
Oh,
I mean, it could be as cheap as $35 to $50 for a plug and play, up to $200-300 for something complete custom wiring and speakers and capacitors, whatever you want to put in there.
yeah. And I remember when I visited you at your the invite you at your house that
Yep.
day, you were showing me a Revo install that you did, and you mentioned at that time that you'd done something different that most people didn't do on the Revo installs, and I think it was you were installing fuses.
I was for a time I was installing fuses in line. What I had noticed was maybe it was the older Revo boards. They were having, if you blew the fuse, there was a board mounted fuse, which everybody can't replace. Not everybody has a soldering gun. And so I started putting in an external fuse. This way, and it was a lower amperage. So that way that blew first, protected the the Revo board, the circuit board, and it was easy for customers to replace without having to take apart the whole engine and, either send their boards back. So it was just a nicety to do for people.
And your buddy Boris is asking, what about mind control? Do you install that too?
As long as
No comment.
as long as we can have our choice of control systems.
He cracks me up, that guy. He is so hilarious.
He is a character. My comrade over there.
Yeah. But how long does it take you to turn around a project to do a Revo install, for example?
Usually it's not too long. I mean, right now I have 7 engines here from a customer, and once I'm done with those, it depends what I'm sent and what they want done. Unfortunately, some of the parts that I needed to do these engines were out of stock, so I'm actually building my own. And I don't know if anybody's ordered anything lately, but all forms of shipment are very slow right now.
Oh yeah, they're terrible.
So I ordered some parts that were supposed to be here the day before Thanksgiving. I just got them in yesterday.
Yeah, yesterday.
Yesterday they came in. They were supposed to be in the day before Thanksgiving. I just got them yesterday.
I know anything coming out of I believe out of the Chicago area is slowed up right now. I have an AML covered hopper that should be coming that's not had any tracking update, I think, in about 6 or 7 days.
Yeah, I mean, I've been seeing that, and the one item I was waiting for, it went back and forth between 2 terminals like 3 times, and then it just disappeared, like there was no other tracking on it.
I think I saw it once before. That's called Pong, isn't it?
Yeah, and then finally it just showed up yesterday. So, unfortunately, sometimes things are out of your control, but most of the time, if I get it, I can turn it around in a week.
Okay. And if somebody wants an estimate, they can send you an email for an estimate as well?
Yep, I will gladly give an estimate of everything they want done and how much it will cost. And I mean, I usually honor my estimates 100%. Even if I'm off, I eat it. So. I
Okay.
try and be straightforward and straight and narrow. I don't want to sway anybody. Give them, oh, it's going to be $100. Oh, sorry, it's 200. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Understood.
Yeah, I
And,
get that.
sorry about that. What kind of DCC do you install?
Whatever anybody wants. I mean, I've done, I've done HO, I've done N scale, I've done repairs on O scale. So I mean, I'm not just limited to G scale. I do other
Oh,
scales.
wow.
Yeah.
Great.
Yeah.
So you've okay.
I've done a lot of pre-war, post-war Lionel repairs for people and getting people have stuff that they put away. I just recently did, it was a year ago, but gentleman had put away his trains for 30 years. Now he has grandkids. He pulled out one little thing for the grandkids to set it up to show them. The grandkids loved it. He pulled everything out, wanted everything to run again, So basically he gave me every engine, everything he had that was broken and didn't run, and said, just make it run like it was brand new. So
wow.
Go through everything, how especially the old Lionel, the grease turns into glue.
Yeah.
So, yeah, just disassemble everything, clean everything out, re-grease it, make sure everything's clean, commutators are clean, all that stuff, get everything running again. Replacing wires, especially like the old Lionel wires, they all cracked and fall apart. So now you have two bare wires.
Yeah.
So, just replacing stuff like that on the transformers, things of that nature.
Okay.
But, yeah, I've done a lot of that stuff too, as well. And then, like I said, the custom stuff. I don't know if you want to get back to.
Yeah, we can look at.
That was the wrong button.
So do you want me to put that back up there now? Or you got something?
Oh, here you go. This is something I'm working on for somebody. This is a transformer load for a flat car.
Oh, very nice.
So in these holes up on top here will go the insulators. I'll probably use a metal pin with an eyelet in it, and then make 3D print insulators, and then that's going to be a flat car load.
Very nice.
I don't know if you want to get into the other stuff. I used to do paint jobs. I don't do that anymore.
So you don't do any custom weathering?
No, I do not.
Okay.
I could leave it outside for you if you want. That's.
Sean wants to weather all of his stuff. He says he wants it to look realistic.
So here's a custom NW2 I did.
Oh, that's nice.
I love that. That's a cool paint job.
Is that stainless or aluminum track?
Stainless.
Yeah,
I got talked into stainless steel before I started my first layout. This was my second layout, but having young kids and working full time, when you have a chance to run a train, you don't want to clean the track first. And the battery technology wasn't there for me at the time. I didn't want to deal with lead acid batteries. So I got talked into this stainless steel track, and I was happy I did it. It always ran well. The only time I really ever had to clean it was like something plant material got on it, or birds. But for the most part, flipped the switch, trains ran. There's a side view.
Very nice.
So that was a NW2, and then so they never made. Aristo-craft never made the baggage car with the brown roof. They only made it with the black roof, and then the color was different because it was a different run.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I wanted one to match mine because I had the Tuscan roof with mine as well. So that's custom painted. Everything's painted on here. Nothing's a decal again.
Okay.
Again, this is just I would buy streamliners for cheap because they were different road names nobody wanted, and then I would change the names, and repaint them to Pennsylvania.
Nice. Columbus Garden Railway Society is asking, can you custom print G-scale figures? They're looking for a person to finish a scene.
I haven't done that. I played around with it a little bit. There's a lot of softwares where you could actually go and design a person. But yeah, I mean, I could look into it if that's something they wanted.
Yeah, it looks like there's something they're interested in doing, because it looks like they're trying to create a scene and they want a specific figure, if I'm reading this correctly.
Yeah, I mean, we could do that. There's even places, not to push off business, but there's places where you could actually go and get yourself scanned, and they'll print you to whatever scale you want.
Really?
Yeah, like you could go get your kids. You get your kids with the baseball bat and in a stance, and they'll scan your child, and print you out to whatever size you want. So people have been doing that, and they actually get themselves.
Okay. And Kyle Kelper is asking, print an EMD 654 block.
Okay.
So I'm guessing he wants to know if you can print one of those for him.
I don't know what that is off the top of my head, but yeah, I'll take a look at it.
EMD 654, I believe, is a prime engine mover, the actual locomotive diesel engine.
Yeah, I mean, we could do a full engine if you want. You saw the other engine I did.
Yeah, and because the 654 was I'm not sure what that would have been used in, if it was a switcher engine or an earlier GP motor. But at any rate, just happened to see that. Mike from Cross Anchors is, where can you get scanned? Sounds like you intrigued him.
Just do a search. They're all over the place. They're all over the country. I don't know exactly where you're from, but yeah, if you just do a search, there's places that will scan.
I believe he's actually down in your neck of the woods, Nico.
Oh, in Virginia?
Yeah, he's in Virginia. Mm-hmm.
Oh, I'm new to my neck of woods, so I'm not sure down here. I would just do a search online. That's my best bet. I mean, I don't know of any place right around here.
Okay, and then Kyle said he did go ahead, and he's going to go ahead and message you to get that engine printed up for him.
Oh, okay. Hey, I also do I have a vinyl cutter, so I could do the negatives, or I could do vinyl decals if people want that kind of stuff too.
Really?
Yeah. So this is so again, I ran a G-scale club, the Pocono Mountain Garden Railway Society, and being 10 years, we had a couple members pass away, and I always wanted to do something for them, to remember them by, and so they're always with us at the new meetings. So I'm in New Kent, Virginia. Somebody was just asking, I guess.
Oh, that was Cross Anchors Railroads. It's in Virginia was asking.
Yeah. So I kind of came up with this idea of making an in memory car, and I put in memory of on the top, and we put the names of members that pass away on the bottom, and then I would put a passenger in. You can see there's one guy poking his head out over here. So for every member that passes away, their name goes on the car, passenger goes in, and they're always there to ride the rails with us.
Cool. That's a nice way to memorize.
Yeah, I like that. That's a very very nice way to remember them.
Yep, you can see John's father's right there, John Simkovich. Yeah, there you go. It's close up.
Okay.
Again, this is all painted on.
And how are you painting that on there? I mean, that's really fine detail.
I make a negative. I make a negative with the vinyl and then paint over it, and then you remove the vinyl and it's painted on the car.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Okay, I get it now.
So this engine and train started out as I was like, oh, I worked for this company. This was my last job. It'd be cool to make a box car to have because I worked at the company. Well, a box car turned into a whole train.
I think I got that train on video.
Yeah, so I made, I ended up getting an A unit from somebody that was undecorated, and then I bought running gear at the East Coast Large Scale Train Show. So then it was an engine, a box car, and a caboose. And then the engine, box car, and caboose turned into, a hopper car and a tanker car. And what else did I make? Oh, there's the original box car.
Oh, yeah.
And then I took, this was a UA train piggyback car. Oh, there we go. That was the piggyback car here.
Yeah.
So I bought that with the trailer, but the trailer had the rounded nose. So it was a little older style.
Right.
So I chopped off the front and I squared it off and I made it, a little bit more modern and put the company logo on it, painted it to match the trucks we had. And then I go to the East Coast Large Scale Train Show the next year, and Charlie Rowe is selling the front of the cab of the truck. So I had to buy another car, extend the car to fit the cab on now. So this car is actually extended. It's actually two cars put together to make it long enough to fit the truck and the trailer. The truck has full LEDs in it, so all the lights up here light up and all the headlights light up. And there's taillights on the back of the cab too, and they plug into each other. And
all right, that's awesome that you were able to add those LED lights to that.
Yeah, there's the caboose. Like I said, it started out as a box car, and there's a close up of the truck. So yeah, somewhere around here, this is cut off, and then I added about this much of the car on, so it could fit the tractor trailer.
Yeah,
you can see here's the plug here that plugs into there, and then the 9 battery sits under here, and the lights work on the truck.
I see that our friend Heath from Humanity Junction Model Railroad was asking if you have a YouTube channel, Nico. I believe you said you don't, correct?
I do not. My son does for rail fanning. You want to tell them what that is?
I have a YouTube channel where I post rail fanning videos and some G-Scale train videos. It is NSNJ Railfan. The profile picture is Norfolk Southern 1074.
Yeah, and if you look in the description, I believe I do have that listed correctly in there, and I did correct the email as well that was wrong earlier.
There's 1 or 2 videos of our layout on my channel too, if you'd like to go see our layout.
Well, the old layout.
The old layout, yes.
Yeah, that's what this is. Pictures of the old layout. But all the trains are on here.
So did you leave track and trains for the new homeowners?
No.
No.
All my tracks and trains are here, packaged away, waiting for the next house and the next next layout. Here's a custom SD 40-2. This started off as a Pennsylvania, and now it's a Reading B-line service.
I like it. Just needs patch for Conrail.
I was thinking the exact same thing. That'd be a lot more cool if it had the patch for the Conrail.
Well, that Vinny would patch over that and make it Norfolk Southern. So yeah.
Yeah.
I completely repaint it, make it Norfolk Southern.
So it's all custom painted. This was a Shea or a Climax?
I think that was the Shea.
Shea. So I put our logo on it for our logging line that was on our layout.
Oh, cool.
And that's all painted on.
And John's asking, and I think it would be an interesting subject if you could talk a little bit about your basement staging yard to get out to your layout.
So that the house we purchased had a basement and it had a window, and that's what sold me on the house. I was like, yeah, window. I looked at the window. I'm like, oh, I could build a layout right outside. So the layout ran in through a window, came in, and then there was a 4-foot wide by, what was it, about 30 feet long yard, 6 tracks wide in the basement. So basically I had 6 trains, 5 trains, always ready to run. Just flip a switch, run the train out. Then I had added on another 2 tracks in the opposite direction. So you ran into the yard, and then you could back into another section. And it made it easy and fun to run the trains. I didn't have to carry them in and out. You know, it was just a matter of opening a window. I used the drop-in bridge clamps.
Do you have any pictures of how that was set up, Nico, or no?
I didn't put any of those on
I
here.
could show on my phone.
Yeah, it's on your phone though. Yeah, unfortunately,
Right.
I did not put. I mean, I have some pictures of the layout, but I do not have.
We'll blame John for not bringing it up earlier so we could be ready.
Yeah. Next time. This is another one I did. This was a SD45 that was kind of Frankenstein together here. You see, it's got a blue cab and a black back, and it's got different road numbers on it. And
You were just working on that, what, a couple weeks ago?
yeah, so this is the finished product. It's a Susquehanna SD45. Again, everything's painted on. It's 3618, which is an actual SD45 for Susquehanna.
Oh,
So again, like I said, everything, all the S is painted on, all the number boards are redone. There's Vinny in the background.
That was vinyl masked for the
Correct.
to do the
Yep.
lettering in that, so no slide decals or anything. Very
No.
nice.
I don't really like the slide decals, so I tend to stay away from them.
It seems like it's near impossible to hide that decal film sometimes.
Yeah, you could always catch it in the right light, and it always comes up. Here's another one I did. This is a Long Island Railroad RS3.
wow.
Again, everything's painted on. Nothing's a decal on this.
Now, what are you using to paint these locomotives with?
Airbrush, spray paint, depends. It depends on the color. Depends on
What
the
road
customer's
is that painted for?
what's that?
What road is that RS3 painted for?
Long Island.
Long Island?
Yeah.
I like the color.
Long Island.
Yeah, he did already mention that.
At least it doesn't say Long Island on the short hood,
No, it was prototypical of what it was and how it was. Actually, I think it has the little running. Oh, no, I didn't get them on there yet. I was still waiting for them. The decals. Had the little running commuter.
When you were running outside, Nico, could you run battery power, or were you running battery power or just all track power?
I don't personally have battery power. Everything was track powered, but the way I had it wired, I had 3 loops. The outside loop could run DC or Revo, and then the inside 2 loops were Revo only.
Oh.
So anybody that I always wanted it. So anybody that came over with any engine, or especially like a little kid that got an engine for whatever, or has an engine and was so happy to just put it on the track and see it run on, a big layout. I always wanted to keep that option available, even though most of my engines were Revo.
Okay.
To me, like I said, it's funny. John's father actually said to me once, he called me over at the East Coast show, and he goes, why do you do all this? Why do you run the club? Why do you? And I actually pointed at John, and John was having a good time, smiling and laughing. I said, that's why I do it. It's about enjoying it and having fun with friends, and seeing smiles on people's faces. That's what always made me enjoy it.
Yeah.
I mean, some people do it for themselves. You know, I do it for myself because I enjoy the hobby and tinkering with the stuff and everything. But I always loved setting up the modules and enjoying it with people. I mean, one guy, one of the first times we set it up at, I think it was the East Coast show. I had the Revo in my hand and I was letting the kids push the buttons to ring the bell and blow the horn. One of the guys from one of the other clubs came over and he almost, what are you doing now? Now they think they're going to come over to my layout and touch my stuff. And I'm like, tell them not to touch it. Like, what? But I mean, we've had kids come to our layout and I have my Revo on a lanyard. I drilled a hole in it so I could put it around the kids' necks. And I've given the kids the remotes and here, run the train. We had one Christmas setup we did. And she was a foster kid. And the mother, the foster mother was sitting there. And this girl was following my train around the layout. I mean, I was getting tired watching her. And so finally, I just gave her the remote. I said, here, run it. She ran it for probably 3 hours.
Wow.
And she's running the train, blowing the horn, doing, I just said, put this around your neck. And I said, this is stop in case anything happens. And, here's how to speed it up, slow it down. And I showed her how to ring the bell and she had a blast. And I mean, it made me happy to see her so happy and it made a memorable moment in her life. That's the way I looked at it.
Yeah.
That's the whole thing with our hobby is, you're supposed to have a good time doing it and share it with other people.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And,
actually the one of the guys on an in-memory car. Sorry.
No, go ahead.
Oh, I said one of the guys on the in-memory car wasn't even a member of the club. We had done, it was at a library in Stroudsburg. Sorry. We did an open house. We would book the library every year and set it up the trains in the library and let anybody come in that wanted to come in and see them. And there happened to be an elderly gentleman there, and we all talked to him, and he had a good time, and he was sitting there. And from the time we did it in the beginning of December till he ended up passing away right after Christmas, his family said all he talked about was those trains and how nice the guys were to talk to him. And they spent almost all day there. And the family made a donation to the club.
Wow.
So as I wrote back to them and I said, thank you for the donation. We're so happy we could make such a big impact on them and everything. And, I told him about the car we had, and I told him I'd put his name on the car so he could always ride the rails with us. So that one of the gentlemen's names on that car is not even a member. He was just somebody that enjoyed our trains for one day.
Yeah. I was just looking at a remark made by Miller's Villanova, and he was telling John Simikovich that John is really good at totally flipping his own engine off the track.
That's Mark.
Yeah, Mark Oles.
Yeah.
John taught his Mikado how to roll over and play dead.
Yeah. I think he taught his other one how to jump off the layout too. What was that book when you were little, Toodles? The one that liked to play in the meadow? That's John's engines. I see Noel's on here too.
Oh, I didn't see him pop in there.
All right, cool.
We got like 44 people in there watching right now. It's kind of hard to keep track of who all's in the chat.
Yeah.
Now here's this is the lowering bolsters.
Oh wow!
The right is the regular height, how Aristo-craft sold them, and the left was the lowered cars.
It's amazing the difference it makes.
Yeah, actually, I have. There you go.
When I did have a set of the streamliners, I had bought a whole set of those and put them on mine from you. And I really like the way they improve the way they look.
Yeah, this really shows you the height difference.
Yeah.
You can see the one on the left is the Aristo, obviously, and then the other one is the one I make, and you can see how much it lowers the car. Just sits so much nicer.
Yeah.
And then, of course, I cut my my couplers back. I think I cut, was it like 3/8 of an inch off of them to bring them closer, just so the cars couple together closer. And I still use the aristo-craft couplers on this train. I didn't switch over to anything else.
Okay.
I guess eventually I would do body mount KDs, but never got there yet.
And it looks like we have other scales of interest watching us. You had mentioned that you're into N scale, but just to introduce him real quick, we have Heath from Human City Junction. He's an N scaler in New York.
Oh, in York?
New York.
New York. Okay, I thought you were talking about like York, Pennsylvania.
No, New York.
If you look in the background, this is the yard.
Oh, let me. Oh, okay. Back behind the cars, what John was talking about.
And if you looked underneath, it also had storage tracks heading back.
Okay.
And if you want to see some pictures of the layout,
Charlie cracks me up because there's a New York now, a New York now.
Well, I actually, I've got a friend that kept saying this year that he was going to New York, and I'm like, "What do you mean you're going to New York?" He goes, "The new location, the New York." I'm like, "You mean Timonian?" He goes, "Yeah, New York." And what was funny was he ended up not going, but ended up going to New York to buy some stuff. So then he started telling me he was going to New York, and I'm like, "I thought you said you weren't going to New York." He goes, "I'm not going to New York. I'm going to New York." I'm like, "What are we talking about?" What are we talking about?
Old York, New York. There's my Atlantic on the bridge.
Oh.
Vinny's cars. That's just some layout photos. Here's kind of an overview of it.
That was a pretty good size area.
It was 60 feet by 90 feet, and it was L-shaped, and it was about 20 feet wide. So the smallest curves on the whole layout were 14 feet.
What year did I come over to your open house?
That was you were there the first year we were running, so that was probably about 2015.
Okay, so I know I have a video of that up there on my.
When you were there, this whole top loop wasn't done; it was still all dirt.
Okay,
and the river. I don't think the river was even running yet. But, and then I know you guys had brought. Oh, here's the another picture on the trestle.
Oh, cool. That's a nice. I don't think that was there either.
The trestle was there when you were there.
Oh, it was? I don't remember.
Yeah.
For some reason.
That was the first loop that was done was with the trestle. So
I'll probably have to go back and watch my own video. Mark Olds is asking, serious question though. Did you make any mods to your Atlantic drivers?
No. The only thing I did was add weight to it. I put the shims. I put metal shims in on the bottom cover because the bottom cover does not hold the axles in tightly, and it will allow them to drop down, and then you could strip the gears. So I put in a lot of guys were using plastic shims, but eventually like styrene, and eventually that's going to wear out. So I used a metal shim instead, and just made it tight enough that it wasn't binding, but held the wheels up. And then I added weight to it. That
I
was
did see one person in one of the groups on Facebook actually ended up putting ball bearings on his. I think he had to kind of open things up a little bit to fit bearings in there, but
there's actually who posted it? Was it Mark or no? I think it was Jens. On one of his videos, there's somebody that has the Atlantic with, I think it's the consolidation running gear underneath it.
yeah, I did see that. Where did I see that at?
And those looked awesome. There was two of them. It was either at Marty's layout or it was at Jen's. It was in one of the videos. I believe it was Jen's.
Yeah, Mark was saying he broke the crank pin last spring on his.
Talk to Mike Moran. He's got a ton of parts for the Atlantics.
Hey, Nico, I don't know if you were looking earlier or not when I put the message in the private chat. Did you see what we were talking about or no?
The message in a private chat.
Okay, you probably didn't. I got a message from our friend Colin Camarillo when we first started the show that he got permission from AML to show the GP60 sample that he got on the show and let us see it. He's just gonna pop in for a little bit and join us. And he doesn't have a whole lot of time to spend with us tonight, but I felt it was too big of an opportunity to miss to show it to people.
Yeah, no, have at it.
All right. Without further ado, I'll add Colin to our stream here. Let's see.
All right, so we got a little surprise for everybody.
There's Colin Camarillo with us.
Hello
now
there.
that I say his name properly.
Hey, Nico. Hey, Vincent.
Hey, how's it going?
Let's go ahead and
guys.
expand this out. There you go.
There we go.
Yes. It's like the Brady Bunch.
Sean gets to be Marcia.
Oh man. Well, hey, I first of all, Nico and Vincent, you guys are doing some pretty good work. Vincent, I admire your drive to make what you make, and I think that's really awesome, especially at your age. Keep it up, dude. Keep it up. We need people like you in our hobby, so I really admire you, and I that's what our hobby needs to do is keep the young people involved and be creative. Don't be afraid to do something different.
I always joke about it that I didn't have anybody to play trains with, so I made somebody.
Oh, nice. Well, hey, AML again. I was actually supposed to give it back today, but I ran into some car troubles, so I really did. It's not an excuse. It really happened. I'm not kidding. My day got messed up. But enough about my day. I asked them last minute as I was rescheduling to meet up with them to hand back the locomotive. That I was like, hey, do you think the guys were asking if I could maybe show it? And he was like, yeah, go for it. So I'm going to show you with my other camera. I'll get that thing around and ready to go. But this thing is, I'll be posting a video shortly. But here is, let's see if I can get you a good shot here. Okay.
Let's see if I can get this around.
Can you blow that up, Andrew?
Not me. The train. Put the train.
It's not a GP6.
Right,
That's a Nico.
I'll try to keep this as still as possible. So, yes, this is not finished. I do know someone on Facebook was talking about the number boards are a little small. This is, again, a pre-production model, so
Sorry,
it will be corrected.
I'm trying to make that bigger. Where's that at? There we go.
All right. So again, I'm going to do my best to keep this as still as possible. So number boards will be corrected. So don't worry about that. And this thing is just phenomenal looking. It really is. Oh, there we are. And the infinite cameras. This is the coolest thing I've ever seen. I think aristo-craft should have done this, and USA Trains should have done this. You ready for this, guys? It is a magnet. A magnet, not a clip. A magnet. This is the smartest thing you could ever do. Wow, it works so well. Anyway, so yeah, I think that was a really good point. There will be controls here. As you can see also, this is pre-electric, like this works, but there's the original electronics are not in it yet. They're still on that. I can't really comment on that. So anyway, but what's really cool, they did include is you see this little hole right here? That could be punched out and you can put a charging jack for battery power if you decide you're going to battery power your locomotive. It's just the small things that I think are just amazing, right? What else? Does anybody want to see any specific part of the locomotive?
My question is,
go ahead.
did they actually use their own motor blocks or are they using somebody else's?
It seems like a cross combination of the best of both of USA and Aristo. But I can only comment so much. So I'm going to be really apologetic because there's only so much I'm allowed to speak up to.
Yeah,
I no, we
anything
completely understand.
But I am allowed to show the bottom of the engine. So let me see if I can safely do this without destroying the one and only in existence today. Yeah, I think we'll be all right with that. That's okay. So it is, again, it's more like a USA, but it doesn't have the sliders. So there are no traction tires, which is great. These wheels are not the wheels that you will be seeing in the production. These are one-offs. These are, again, just to show the model and just to test it and see its sizes and stuff like that. So there are going to be some changes there. Yeah, and it's just I again ask away if you want me to go into any specific spots.
Well, one person was asking, where'd the comment go? I think they wanted to see if you were able to put any power to it.
I am unable to do that at this moment in time. You will see a video that I will be posting on Facebook at a later time once I edit it, because I just took some more footage of it today. So
people are asking, where is the speaker on this?
Currently, there's a speaker right here facing up. I am not sure of the final speaker placements of this unit, but again, that is subject to change. I mean, if they were to, I did give some feedback and some comments to consider doing the tank, and even having the top if that is for both. But yeah.
Okay.
And yeah.
Charlie Zimmerman's asking, can KDs be easily mounted to this?
It's a very good question. It is a unique, it is, well, Ted and I have been very little busy bees for the week we've had with this locomotive. So for KD, I don't know. For the actual, like, because KD hasn't even seen this engine, I don't think.
Right.
So you'd have to wait for KD to come out with something. Or we may have something when they launch.
Okay.
For KD couplers.
And Brandon Hill is asking, what is the estimated MSRP on a locomotive once it hits?
Oh, man.
I can tell him, I'm looking at the RLD Hobbies website right now, and if his pre-orders on it without sound is at $519, and the versions with sound are $659 is the prices he has for pre-orders on them. Okay. Now, whether that's going to change at all or not, I don't know. That's what he has for the pre-order pricing on them. It says coming soon on his site.
And SD45 man said he ordered 5 GP60s all the way back in 2009. So he's estimating, when do you think these will finally be released?
God, you guys are killing me. I know we all want answers. You guys want answers, and I can't give those answers. I'm gonna say soon. That's all I can really say. It is not my place to say. Once I am given the A-OK to say they have a date set in mind, then I will be more than happy to let you all know on Facebook, or I can, let you guys know on your next consolidated live large scale chat. Just to say offhand, I don't have to come on the video, but I just wanted to. I will let you guys know as soon as I know.
Okay.
Well, that's a good question. Crazy Train 525. So we did a test of on flat level ground. We did 18 cars. They were AML, LG. Most of them were AML. The High Cubes, the Bethgons, and the PS 4750s. And then we had just a few other mixed cars from other manufacturers in there. 18 cars on flat ground on its own. Now, again, this is subject to change. And then on a 2.5% grade at Ted's house, we did. We only tested it with 9 cars because we didn't want to. Again, this is the only one out, and we didn't want to damage it. So
AML might be sad if you broke it. I can understand.
Yes, we wanted to be very nice to them, and again, they've been nice enough to let us borrow or have a babysit this engine for a little bit and give them our opinions. And so we went with 9, and we were very satisfied with the 9 that pulled up the 2% grade or 2.5%.
Does it have a pretty good weight to it, Colin?
It does. I'm not sure if I can release the weight yet, but I will. I promise you guys. I really promise.
You don't have to apologize at all. And I mean, everybody keep in mind that Colin got special permission to just be able to show it to us. So we really appreciate him taking the time.
There will be ditch lights here. Again, this is a pre-production model. There will be ditch lights. Do not worry.
Okay.
I think my son asked you that question.
What?
If the ditch lights,
they will work. They're just not in. They're not. There's the holes and everything like that are all in place for it. It's just has not been wired up yet.
I like the plow they have on here. That looks really nice.
Yeah, this plow is a really nice looking plow, and I like it.
And so Brandon Hill asked, will it have compatibility with a system like Revo?
I am not sure. Regarding the manufacturer or the finals of the electronics and all that stuff, that is all something that is not in my control or do I know about. So once I get an A-OK from AML that what they're sticking with and what they're doing, then I'll be able to give you an answer.
Okay.
But again, I think they have an idea of what they're doing, but I cannot speculate.
But I guess let me ask you this then real quick. What have you learned about it that you are allowed to tell us then, maybe?
What have I learned about it? It is definitely AML quality. It's got the detail that I like that they do. It is Ted put it next to a GP40 and a GP38-2. And they match up very well, height-wise and all that stuff. They look really good. I think that what I like about it the most is that it's just the small things, like I said earlier, that they, even included this little ready to pop out hole for a charging jack, right? Why can't this focus? There we go. And I like that. That's just a little thing that they thought of. Hey, here's a place to put a charging jack so you can charge your battery, if you decide to go battery power or not. So, and then
what aristo-craft did a -9.
What is that?
Take screws from the board and access the inside of the engine without taking the whole engine apart.
Exactly.
I wish they would have done that on the SD45 and the GP40s as well, but
yeah.
Yeah, that's one thing I wish they would have done, but they got there in one of the last engines.
Yeah, But I mean, hey, look, let's give these guys some credit for at least making something. The inside of the cab, let's see. I guess you can see inside of the cab. There's some detail in there. Again, this is not finalized because this is a one-off. So like there's even wires from just being, this is all not final. So it'll be a lot cleaner than that. Can I get this to focus, please? There we go.
Looks very sharp.
As you can see the wires there. Yeah, that's not going to be there, so don't worry.
They might be prototypical.
Yeah, right. Well, for NS, yeah, I think it's prototypical for NS. Me being a California boy, I'm gonna keep getting on those East Coast railroads. Long hood forward, people. Does anybody else have any questions, or do you guys want to see anything?
Bruce wants to know if you can make a plow like that.
Who?
Bruce Morrill.
Oh, Bruce. Ask Nico. Nico's your guy.
That's how you guys are going to be tonight. The two guys at 3D Print telling everybody to ask the other guy. It's like when I was a kid. Hey, Mom, can I have that toy? I'll go ask your father.
Nico goes, hey, I'm not printing these coupler boxes. Just talk to Colin. Yeah, I'm not printing that plow. You talk to Nico. That's how we work together. It's a friendly thing.
Yeah. It's a very sharp engine, though.
Yeah, it is.
And also, look at the detail here, guys. I mean, come on. This is something that AML does.
Kind of makes you want to get back into G scale, doesn't it, Sean?
Yes, Sean.
Come on, Sean. You want one of these AML.
I got pictures where those cutouts were in the wall for your tunnels, Sean. We can put them back in there.
Now, these look 3D printed, but I think the real ones are going to be way better, or it might just be the paint on it. So,
yeah, the one thing, and I don't know why it draws my attention so much, is the magnetic dynamic brake cover.
I know, right?
Because I was just fiddling around with my GP40 last night, and I pulled the cover off, and I swear it was like a 5-minute process to get it to go back on without breaking it.
Yeah, I've already broken one of those tabs on my GP40 and maybe my SD45. This should have been the thing all along. It is a magnet.
So, John is asking. He is curious to what Vincent thinks about this GP60. We would like to hear from him what he thinks because he likes the more modern stuff.
I think it's an amazing model. I think it's really awesome that AML is doing a locomotive, and I definitely think it's going to be a good model, a good puller. It's going to have a lot of the prototypical details, such as the PTC equipment and the ditch lights, which some other models are lacking.
Okay. And
Focus.
Brandon Hill is asking, since you're on here, both of you guys are on here, do you guys use resin 3D printers or you use traditional filament printers?
Is that a question for me or for the
I think it
Corbo?
was actually for both of you.
I think both of us. Colin uses resin and I use filament.
And we're still friends.
And we're still friends after all this time.
Michael Robinson said, I have started planning a G gauge outdoors railroad, wondering which is the best way to power it, please.
All right. Well, I think that's an off subject for this, but I just wanted to show this other side, and then I'll probably get out of your guys' hair. You guys can continue on.
Are the side vents just molded plastic on the model?
I was just going to say real quick, Michael, we'll come back to your question here real shortly after we're done looking at the GP60. If I forget, just throw your question up there again, and we'll touch on that.
So, are the side vents just molded plastic?
Yes, I believe so. Yes.
Do the cooling fans on the top spin?
That is an unknown. I'm not too sure.
Okay.
Again, these are not the final fans. To my knowledge, I know that the actual modeling of them, I don't think they have any innards or anything like that in it. There's a lot of things that are missing because this is, again, a pre-production model. So please, everybody understand this is a pre-production model. This is not what you will be getting. This is the general idea. This is, especially, this top and all this molding, all that stuff. But some of the smaller finite details, I do not have an answer for.
Okay. That's fair enough.
So
No, I like it. I think it's a really nice looking model.
Yeah, they did a nice job on that.
Nico, I didn't hear from you. What do you think?
I think it's beautiful. I mean, like I said, I'm more into the transition era kind of stuff. I like, I still like the steam engines. I like the, I want to say like the F3s, F7s, E8s. But my son is definitely getting me into more of the modern stuff as I'm, for some reason, I'm like, my tastes are changing. Why is this happening?
Yeah.
But yeah, it's very sharp. I can't wait to see one, and possibly own one.
Yeah, I agree.
John already put one on Vincent's Christmas list.
All right. Well, is there anything anybody else needs to see or would like to see?
I think
I'd like to see one on my layout. That's what I.
Yeah, I agree. I totally agree with you guys.
I just like looking at it in general. It's calming. It makes you think, oh my God, people haven't forgot about G scale.
Yeah.
I do have one question.
What's up?
Are the couplers at KD height or aristo-craft height?
They are at AML height.
Okay. Like this, body mount AML or truck mounted AML?
Well, I didn't know there was a difference between the two. I thought the two were the same.
I think the truck mount one's a little lower.
That is a good question. Again, I don't know if these are the final iterations of the coupler boxes or the couplers themselves. So, again, we are going to be talking to AML about just our opinion on even adapting our product to this locomotive. I guarantee you that Katie's going to want in on it, but yeah, I don't know the final, but that is a very good question. It is held on by two posts on each end. It's kind of like a wing, and yeah, I don't know. You can see it. I mean, I think I showed the bottom image of it.
It's kind of similar to the USA Trains mounts.
No,
not
at all.
Okay.
Let's go to my camera. Okay.
Let me zoom that
So,
Oh, okay, I see it. Yeah.
So it's got like a.
It looks like it's already got the pad for Katie to bolt right in there.
Well, this is come on, this guy right here. If this thing will really just like to focus and not on the wheel, that'd be great. Okay, great. So this is like a metal pad that's below it.
Yeah.
And you can see that there's three positions: forward, middle, and back. So it can protrude out further or more closer. And then this kind of just wiggles here, but I don't think this is the final rendition of this coupler. I do not know. Yeah. So there's basically two posts that it goes pretty far. I can stick my finger here and it's still under it. So like literally I can go under this thing.
Oh.
The posts might line right up with a KD box.
Maybe. It's possible. I don't know.
The two holes on the side here, on either side, here and here.
You're talking about that and that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It might line up. I do not know. But it may not be at Katy height. So.
And what road names are these going to be available in? Somebody's asking.
Many.
They're all on RLD's website.
Yeah, I was just looking right now. Looks like they're going to do.
Well, the most important. Southern Pacific, because nobody makes Southern Pacific things anymore.
Yeah, Southern Pacific. Looks like Rio Grande, Union Pacific.
I think they have Norfolk Southern and CSX though, Colin.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
Two different Norfolk Southern actually. They got the Operation Lifesaver he has there, and then the standard. They also have doing a GP59 variant in the Southern Railway 100th anniversary paint. It looks like, and of course Santa Fe, and what did we said Vermont Railway already, didn't we?
I believe so.
Yeah, what about what 6, 7 different? No, more than that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 7, 9 different paint schemes are going to do. I mean, 2 of them are NS, but different ones.
Hey, if they sell good, they'll do more.
Well, I will say that it has been an absolute pleasure working with AML. Just letting them here's our locomotive, our only one that we've ever made. You can go have fun with it. I was just like, what? Thanks, guys. Like, it's very nice of them amongst all that's going on in the world and stuff like that. But it's just the fact that they're making something new for us is great. And I think that we should all support them. And yeah, this is the only way for our hobby to keep going, because we want Vincent to have new models for when he gets older, and then he can continue to pass along the tradition of garden railroading to other people around the world.
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, the biggest thing, is if you wanted to make more new stuff, you got to buy what they're selling now. And, if RLD's prices on the pre-order stuff is correct, I mean, $659 with sound, and the non-sound was, let's see here, $519. I honestly don't feel that's a horrible price for a brand new G-scale locomotive.
No, it's not.
Newly manufactured.
And you know what? If you
Pro engine nowadays.
If you talk about the inflation from what you used to buy the trains at back in 2008 to now, or when the Dash 9s are out, it's about the right price. It's about what they would cost now. It's the same difference. I mean, I think someone on Facebook, Kevin Hill, was saying, actually, this price is about the right price based on inflation from what they used to cost till now. So this is about right. So
yeah.
I'm take my money. So, well, gentlemen, it was a pleasure to thank you guys to have me on. Thank you, Nico and Vincent, for letting me just have a little minute. I wanted to share this with you guys. So, but I want to just say again, I love that you guys are 3D printing. I love that we're friends and that we can talk about these things. And that's what railroading, or garden railroading and model railroading is all about, just to have there's no competition here. We're all friends and we're all here just to play with our trains. Come on, man.
Yeah.
And Vincent, keep up the good work, man.
So I can play with my GP40 now? Okay, I'll talk to you guys later.
Well, what you need to do is you need to finish putting my color box on your train.
All right. No dessert till I do that. Okay.
And again, it's been real. It's been fun. Thank you guys. Have a great rest of your night. I'm gonna keep watching this live stream. So, cheers.
We'll see you.
Thank you, Colin.
Bye, guys. Cheers.
Bye.
All right, let's answer a couple other questions. Maybe we can help out a couple member or chat people here.
I was going to say, did we want to roll back to
Yeah, I'm going
Michael
back.
Robinson?
Yeah, I'm already there. So Michael Robinson was asking, he had started planning G-scale outdoor railroad, and he's wondering what is the best way to power it. And I'm sure there could be an argument between battery power and track power, but
the best way to power your trains is the best way that works for you.
There you go. There's your answer.
And you're going to have people that say this is the best way, and you're going to have people that say that's the best way. But whatever is the best for you. Some people are battery, and they love that. I never used battery. I didn't want to have to worry about charging a battery or having batteries charged to be able to run. Especially, like I said before, now my kids are a little older. It's easier, but when I had the reason why I went with the investment in a stainless steel track, I could flip a switch, run a train for 15 minutes and put it away and not have to worry about anything being charged, not charged. Again, you weigh your pros and your cons with what you have and what you can do. And, fortunately enough, I started buying, I had a ton of brass track ready to go into my first layout. And then somebody talked me into going to stainless steel because I didn't want to go battery, and I knew that. So, that change in investment made it easier for me. And, the trains always ran for me, and I didn't have to worry about charging a battery. If you have the time to do that stuff and keep the batteries maintained and charged, maybe battery is a better way to go. You'll spend less on track. You could find used track. You could use aluminum track. So there is options, and it really has to be what's best for you and what's the most cost effective for you to do.
Yeah. Now, Brandon Hill was asking, do you think there'll be manufacturers that could fill the void in the hobby with the recent loss of MTH and aristo-craft?
Do you guys want to answer that, or you want me to answer?
I'm not quite sure how to answer that question. That's definitely a speculative one there.
For how many years now? It's not like they closed their doors.
Was it 2011? 2011 when they
and MTH just announced they're closing, so that's going to end the gauge 1 for the G scale hobby.
I never saw MTH as a huge player in G scale. They made some beautiful engines and things. I think they made a mistake by going 132nd, considering that, the rest of the G scale world was 129th.
I tend to agree with that. There's some things you can mix that doesn't look too terrible. The Pico MDC hoppers are supposed to be 132, but they don't look too bad. But you put a 132-8 by a 129-9, there's a good difference in size when you look at them.
I even had talked to one of the guys at MTH, and I said, what was the deciding factor, and what made you guys go 132nd as opposed to 129th with what everybody else was doing? And he said, we thought we were going to change the industry, and they didn't sway it like they thought they were going to.
Yeah.
And,
it's always a gamble.
Yep.
Yeah. Well, they could have, if things went a different direction, they could have owned it, and the other companies would have been scrambling to change to 132nd. But I think that too many people had too many other trains previously. And that's what, kind of hurt them a little bit. They did have a nice control system. The TCS system was great. The amount of things you could do with it, it was wonderful, and it gave, especially to younger kids, and it gave it a great play factor,
Yeah. And Brandon Hill was also asking, he never heard much of AML. He's asking, could somebody give him a short background on them? He doesn't recognize the AML brand. Now, I know when AML used to be, a lot, it was a division of AccuCraft, which was made a lot of live steam locomotives.
AMS is the more of the live steam side of it, and then AML is more of the mainline portion of it. But they've been around for a while.
Right. And they have done quite a bit, even rolling stock in 129 scale as well.
129th and 132nd.
Okay.
Yeah, they did the high cubes most recently, I think, were
Yeah.
the last cars they made. Of course, the PS2 covered hoppers. And I know they did 40-foot box cars, didn't they?
Yeah, they did
Yeah.
the 40-foot box cars, the 40-foot reefers, and the Bethgons.
Oh, I forgot about the Bethgons. Okay.
Yeah. So they've been around for a while. They make really nice stuff. I'm happy to see them making. I mean, they've made electric engines before, but there were smaller switchers and things of that nature. They've made K4.
They were an 060, didn't they make?
Yeah, they made quite a few steam engines, but it's nice to see them getting into more of the modern diesels.
Okay.
And I hope it's a good seller for them, and they're going to continue the hobby and continue making product. I know that Sean had posted about USA Trains, and they were going through some issues with their supplier, and
Yeah, they went through some very horrible times. The manufacturer over in China decided to quit doing business with them, and in the meantime, they held onto the USA Trains molds, which is why there wasn't a lot of stuff coming from USA Trains, and it really hurt their business. And it took them forever to get all the molds and to make everything out of that one plant to start continuing to make trains again. And they finally got everything back in 2019. So that was going on for like 3 or 4 years of fighting with China to try and get their molds back, even though they were staying within the country. Because once you're in the country of China, you can't pull any product out. It belongs, once you set up a factory or you take equipment over to China, it now belongs to the country of China, even though it was you paid for it, it's yours. So there's no getting your stuff back, and a lot of people don't realize that.
oh yeah, you pay for the mold and then you lose it. And I've heard that with not just in the train industry, but other industries that I've worked in, and yeah, it's tough to get stuff moved, or once
Right.
even if you own the mold and you bring it into China, it gets stuck there.
Yeah. So he was staying within the country of China. He was just going to a different manufacturer within China, thinking it would be a relatively easy move, but they held up the process. I mean, oh, we lost this, we got to find it, we got to pull it. And so, it you can't, it takes more than just one mold to make a locomotive. You might have like 20 or 30 molds to make one locomotive between all the parts and pieces. So even though they were getting piece this and piece that, it was terrible. And like I said, they finally got everything back in 2019. At the end of 2018, so they were going back into regular full production of locomotives again. That's why you're seeing the old stuff coming back out again. And they're even doing a brand new F9, which is basically the F3. They're just rebodying that.
F7.
F7. I mean, thank you. They're playing around with. They were playing around with trying to update the motor blocks for the SD40. I was talking to Mike at USA Trains in 2019 about that. So I don't know how far they got, because I pretty much lost contact with them since the train shows were shut down this year. So I know that it's one of the locomotives a lot of people were asking for. So I don't know what kind of changes they're making, and I'd rather not speculate.
Yeah, some people don't realize how much a mold costs. I mean, something like this, to make a mold for this, you're probably looking at about 10 grand just for that little part. So imagine how many pieces and parts are in a locomotive, and especially once you get into larger parts like the body of a locomotive or a chassis. I mean, that mold can cost anywhere $100,000. So you have a bottom and the main body of a chassis of a locomotive, you're probably looking at $200,000 right there.
Yeah. And now with the the passing of Charlie Rose Sr., I mean, I'm hoping that the USA Trains brand will continue on in production with Charlie Rowe Jr. So
Yeah,
hopefully,
that was definitely a little bit of a shock when I heard that.
Yeah, it's unfortunate, but unfortunately, it's part of life too. We all get there one day.
yeah.
Just make sure I'm in your will, Nico.
So, what's the guarantees in life? What's that?
No, I said just make sure I'm in your will, Nico. But probably leave it to Vincent first.
Yeah, he's getting all the trains. Sorry.
That's all right.
Maybe you could talk to him. Maybe you could be in his will.
All right. I don't know if Vincent's probably going to outlive me by a little ways, I imagine. How old did you say you are again, Vincent?
15.
15. I'll be 39 in January. Yeah, I think you're going to outlive me.
And then hopefully the E8s come out. Bachmann announced that last few months ago,
E8s?
right?
-9s.
Not E8, sorry, -9. I was reading Kyle's.
Kyle? Yeah, I know.
E8s.
Blame Kyle.
Yeah.
Blame Kyle.
Bad Kyle.
But the -9s, hopefully they'll have those out next year as well. So, that would be a good kick for the hobby to have some nice engines out, and hopefully by then the virus is under control and we could get back to train shows. And
yeah, that's what's been killing me. I just love going to train shows. So, not being able to go to them is like, wait, somebody's being blamed instead of me. The other live shows, and he's even made his own custom T-shirts. We always say blame Heath because things usually go wrong when he's around. So he actually made his own custom T-shirts because of that. It says blame Heath.
There's actually a lot of good people in the YouTube community that I didn't really even realize were there until Sean got me involved with watching a lot of the other live shows, and that really good community in here. I'm really surprised with the amount of people that interact. I mean, we still have 37 people still watching us. It must be for Nico's good looks, because it surely isn't for mine or Sean's.
it's the sleepiness.
I don't know if I could pull that off, Nico. I don't know. I'm getting kind of thin up there.
So somebody said that they were looking for a 250-ton crane, or they wanted to buy one, and they said that somebody else, Joseph, mentioned that GAL line makes a 250-ton crane.
Yeah, that's what a laser etch kit, I believe.
Okay.
Any experience with that, Nico?
That had made one too. I don't remember the company, but I don't think they make them anymore.
Oh, okay.
It was a nice kit, and every time I've seen them come up, thanks, John. They usually sell for a good penny. Like I said, I don't remember the name of it.
Oh, do you see Heath's comment there, Sean? Do you want to?
Yeah. And for those who are not familiar, we're involved, or me and Andrew try to get involved in other live streams to try and support the model train community, whether it's O gauge and N-gauge, HO, whatever. But Heath at Human City Junction Model Railroad is doing a giveaway, and he's giving away starter sets, and he's trying to raise money for the youth program at the Colorado Model Railroad Museum. And so he wants to give away starter sets to and raising money for the youth program at the Railroad Museum. So check him out at the Human City Junction Model Railroad. He's got a YouTube channel, great channel. He does a lot of great things in N scale. So if you like N scale, he does T-track modules if you're limited on space. So he shows you how to do that. And if you notice the parentheses in his name, because his name also is humanity. So his name means two different things: Human City and Humanity Junction. So he's kind of ingenious like that. So I just you want me to mention that. So great guy, great channel. Check him out.
Yes, and if you'd ever like to know the answer to the question, is a hot dog a sandwich? Make sure you ask Keith.
Yeah, I've given many a G scale sets away to try and grow the hobby, and my wife was talking about it the other day. Like, I'll try and find parts and pieces online and put together small train sets and give them away to kids. I've given away quite a few sets.
Okay, yeah, and that's the important thing is trying to continue try and make sure the hobby continues, to promote it, to make sure, and that's what this show is all about, is trying to bring the people in the community together, the large scale people together, because COVID has, as you know, shut down the train shows. So now we're all we haven't been together in quite some time. So we're trying to gather everybody together during these live shows. And, and it's just, it's pretty close to being on a train show where we're seeing all of our friends in the chat and we're talking about trains and G scale and large scale and stuff like that. That's what this, the idea of the show was really based for.
I saw Braden mention that he wants to put electronics and some other things inside of the crane. I've seen there's a gentleman from Michigan that took one of the USA Trains cranes and completely made it radio control. It pivots, it drives in and out. You could lower and raise the boom. He actually had it on our layout at in York.
Let's say Sean actually has some video of a operating G-scale crane from the Smoke and Oak Garden Railroad, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, I do. I don't know who made that.
I'm not sure who made that either.
Maybe if Charlie Zimmerman was still on here. Charlie, if you're on here, let us know who made your crane that you got on the Smoke and Oak. And we'll look for his comment here.
He said that actually belongs to Jeremy.
Oh, okay.
Jeremy just had it over to play with for the day, but I'm not sure where Jeremy got that from, and I don't think he's on the comment right now.
No, I don't think so either. Is Ken Miller on with us tonight?
He just commented here.
I just happened to see his name pop up.
I just saw his comment there. Where'd it go? What did I want on that? We were mentioning on the last show about the convention cars from the 2020 convention. I believe, if I remember correctly, I think Ken said that the convention has what was left of those back, and I believe they are trying to sell those because obviously they need to get rid of them to be able to make a new car for the convention for next year, since this year's didn't happen. And I'm trying to think. Oh, I thought Ken had given us their website or something the last time.
I think you guys did post it.
I did post it? Unfortunately, Ken can't put a URL in the chat. I'll have to look and see if I can find it. If you're on Facebook, Ken, and I know we're friends on there now. If you can shoot me a link for those convention cars, I'll gladly throw that up there for you. I'm sorry, I should have mentioned that earlier. Let's see here. So, what's your opinion tonight, Mr. President? I mean, Vincent.
About what?
In general, I mean, what do you think of the show? What do you think about where we're going with the hobby right now? Do you have high hopes?
I think with AML doing some more modern stuff and doing a locomotive now, I definitely think the hobby is going in the right direction. Also with USA doing the new motor blocks on the SD40-2 and the SD70, I definitely think that we're heading in a good direction. And Bachmann doing the -9 as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I told them at Bachmann, you're doing a -9, you should be doing the Evans box cars too. The 53-foot Evans. I mean, you're gonna sell the engine. You're not gonna have any cars to put behind it.
Yeah. I got a couple Evans sitting there, and yeah, there's definitely look a lot better behind a -9 than 40-foot box cars, I guess.
Yep. That
those 40-foot box cars were long gone by the time the -9s came around.
Yeah, but I'm saying, you're going to do an engine with no cars to go with it. No,
Yeah, well, Andrew just put cars with it anyway. Whether it's
Sean likes running cattle cars with his modern diesels.
Not me.
He said that's the only way to roll. No. if there's one thing that's nice about our hobby is, for the most part, you can do what makes you happy. You can run whatever you want to run, mix and match things together. Sean and I like to give each other a hard time because we're friends. But, in the grand scheme of things, I mean, we're just happy to see people running trains and having fun.
Yeah, I mean, that's the point of it to me, enjoy it and spread the joy that you get out of it to other people. I mean, some people don't get that part of it, but I mean, that's why I started the club. That's why we did the modulars, it was to be able to set them up and do those things where people enjoy it and, and get a kick out of it, or, bring somebody back. We did a car. No, it wasn't a car show. It was like a fair, and they set us up in the middle of all these vendors. And, we're blowing the whistles and the smoke's going and there's it was like a craft fair. So there was women sitting in a chair knitting, just looking at us. One of the women came over and I'm like, oh, I'm sorry about all the sound and the smoke. And she's like, no, she goes, I used to take a train just like that with the passenger cars to go see my grandmother. And she's like, all day long, it just brought back that nostalgia of of the train and going on those trips. And, she totally enjoyed it. And it was just that little part of her life that it brought joy back to her, So that's what makes it worth it. Setting up a modular is no easy task. It's hours and hours and prep and making sure everything works and that's that's the little reward you get for doing it.
Absolutely.
Oh yeah.
I was just going to say we've definitely rolled well past 2 hours at this point. I'm not going to hard cut us off, but I was going to say if we want to taper out here over the next few minutes,
sure,
4 minutes, whatever, just so we can let people down easily that the show is going to have to end.
I sent you a message there.
You sent me a message?
Yeah.
In the
All
private.
right, let's see here. Oh, yeah. I'm sorry, I forgot about that. Yeah. Well, if you want to take the lead on it, Nico, you can go right ahead there since you're the man.
So I have a giveaway. This is lowering bolsters for the aristo-craft streamliners. It's one set to do one car. First person to, so I'm going to do it through a question and answer. So the first person to answer the question correctly will win these bolsters, ship them to you after you could send me an email and I'll get them shipped out to you. So the question is, what's that?
I was just going to say the proper email is in the description now for them to email you.
Yeah, thank you. That would help. So the question is, what is the first year that REA Aristocraft started making G-scale trains?
All right. Anybody that didn't hear that, what, because you kind of cut out a little bit, what was the first year that REA/Aristocraft started making trains?
Scale trains. I figure since it's a Aristocraft part.
Well, we got one answer so far of 1988 was the first answer.
Yep, 1745. 1259 BC, or is that AD? Yeah, so Mark got it correct. 1988 was the first year they produced with a REA produced a train. So I'll get those sent out to you, Mark.
All right, Mark won a giveaway tonight on the Large Scale Consolidated live show.
Ooh, 1988. That seems like yesterday.
Yep. Nobody bought the Aristocraft tooling because they went bankrupt, so it was basically abandoned.
I believe it.
I've seen this question, I mean, a ton of times, like, who owns the tooling? Who owns the tooling? Well, first of all, it's in China, so China owns the tooling, and
this is very true.
And went out of business, so basically, it's considered abandoned.
Okay.
Yeah, a lot of times we tend to forget when you get outside of the borders of the United States, rules in other countries and how things are owned and everything are just a bit different from us.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it unfortunately, fortunately they are at a manufacturing site that still does manufacture trains. So that's why you may see him. Oh, Vincent's been working on, just before we go.
Yeah.
He's been working on a Fred.
So I'm working on making a G-scale Fred for freight cars, locomotives, whatever you want to put it on. So this is just a prototype right now. It's going to have a piece that will actually sit in the opening of the coupler, and then the Fred will sit next to it. Something like that. Prototypically, yes. And so these will be for sale soon. I just have to get the piece all finished up. And when you buy them, they will come with a wire in and an LED that flashes. So you can set it up for track power, battery power, however you want to do it.
And you want to explain to what a Fred is to everybody, because not everybody would know what a Fred is.
Yes, of course. So FRED stands for Flashing Rear End Device. It is a device put on the end of trains, and it can read the air pressure, and it's also just like a signal instead of cabooses nowadays, because we don't have cabooses. It just says that there's a train ahead of you, like if it's foggy out and there's like bad signals or whatever. So.
All right.
Very nice.
Yeah, very nice.
Thank you.
So, and I'm also going to be working on Cody's lowering kit. We got Vincent's FA out, and we're going to start dismantling it to start working on that lowering kit.
So, of course, if anybody's interested in, anything you've mentioned you might be making for sale, or maybe they would like to see if you could make them something, just send you an email at the address we have in the description, right?
Yep, or repairs, or like I said, Revo installations, anything of that nature.
Okay.
All right.
Well, is there anything that you'd like to leave us in closing with, Nico?
Just enjoy the hobby and enjoy running your trains. I mean, I always see people with going crazy with the planning. I'm planning my layout. And years go past, and they're still planning their layout. Get a circle on the ground. Get the trains out there running. You can always expand it. You can always change it. Just get it running, and you'll enjoy it. And you can always expand from there. You don't need to build an empire to start. start small, get into it, and just enjoy it. Get out to the shows, join a club. Clubs are another great thing. You get to meet some awesome people. I mean, a lot of the people that are from the Pocono Mountain Club are like my family, and it's wonderful to even being down here in Virginia. I'm still in contact with them constantly, and
yeah, I can't say I couldn't agree with you more, Nico. I mean, I came up and visited you guys in it wasn't Hazleton. Where was that? Weatherly.
Weatherly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Brought my E8s up and ran them around. Kyle kept trying to steal them. No, the club was very welcoming. I mean, I just came up to kind of visit, and I ended up being just about as involved as a club member, I think, while I was there.
Yeah, we always tried to run our club that way. I mean, from the first time we even went to to York, I posted out on the aristo-craft forum and large, aristo-craft forum still there actually, but and Large Scale Central. I said, anybody that wants to come and run with us or help out are more than welcome to. Always kept it. We have the Michigan contingency, which joins us every year. A bunch of guys from Michigan, usually come out and hang out with us and help us set up the modules, spend a weekend with us, and it's always a good time. It's always great, and it's always great to see everybody. I mean, there's people we only see once a year, at these shows, especially the large scale show, and it's like a family gathering all over again.
Yeah.
I was gonna mention here because Dunbar put it in the comments here that 2 weeks from tonight is Christmas night, and he's absolutely correct, or she, because I guess I shouldn't assume. Dunbar's kind of I really can't make an assumption one way or the other. So Dunbar, whoever you are, yes, 2 weeks from tonight is Christmas, and we are actually still going to do a live show that night at 8:30. We're going to have our friend Jonathan Straczynski has his YouTube channel, Jonathan the Fish Guy. Yes, he's in the trains as well, not just fish. But he's going to be our guest that night. So there will be a show 2 weeks from tonight at 8:30. So, if you're not doing other things with family on a day like Christmas at 8:30 at night, tune in and hang out with us. I'm sure we'll have a really excellent show.
Yeah, absolutely. And make sure that I believe it's going to be hosted on Dakman Productions channel that weekend or that day.
I wasn't sure yet. You were still on the fence with it being Christmas Day.
Yeah, I'm sure I can escape from family that day. So,
no, I didn't want to. If we didn't have to, I didn't want to shift the dates around again. I know we shifted them around because of Thanksgiving, and I didn't want to keep playing the shuffle game because then we would have ran into New Year's as well. So I guess we'll just grin and bear it.
Yeah, and for those who are new to this live show, me and Andrew swap channels. So he'll host a show on his channel, then I'll host a show on my channel, Dakman Productions. So we go back and forth hosting the live shows so we don't get burned out.
Yeah. So I know that, just Sean and I both share, on our Facebook and on our YouTube channel, regardless of who's hosting the show, we both share it. So we try to make sure everybody can be in the loop and not miss out on the show.
And we're always looking for guests on our show. So if you if you like to be a part of the show, just pop Andrew an email or a message, and we'll go from there. And I would like to wind down the show by telling everybody thank you for joining us tonight and giving us your time. I really enjoy doing these live large scale train shows with Andrew, MrPictovid, and our guests. It's been great. I've been enjoying doing these live streams. You know, with now with Garden Railways magazine gone and the train show shut down, I think this is one of the best ways to communicate with everybody and bring everybody together, because they can actually ask a question and get it answered right then and there. So that's what the nice part about these are, because it is live, so you get an answer to your question. And we're doing these live shows every other week because we are involved in other things, once again, so we don't get all burned out. Was one of the things we decided on. But once again, thank you everybody for joining us tonight. Enjoyed everybody's chat. We've had a lot of great chat, a lot of people asking questions, and can't wait to see you guys next time around. And I'll leave everything up to Andrew now.
Thanks for having us on.
Yeah, no, thank you by all means for coming on. Very, very good conversation, and you had a lot of nice things to show us. I got some ideals rolling around in my head, like making a review video on these.
Why not just wait till next year?
Next year, yeah, we're getting close.
Yeah.
I might have some downtime coming up, but no, thanks for coming on, guys. Thank you to everybody that tuned in and watched tonight. As I said a few times before, this is only our fourth show. We're still a little new at this, so I apologize. We obviously have some improvements we're making along the way and growing pains. So thank you everybody for being understanding of that. And we'll be back in 2 weeks with another show for you. And we hope to see you guys then. With that, good night, everybody, and we hope you enjoyed the show.
Have a good one.
We'll see you.